Krillin is a beloved character throughout the Dragon Ball series. He's had some considerable wins, has created plenty of cool moves, and is overall a good friend to Goku. But as the series progressed, Krillin's main personality trait slowly turned into him just being short. He's always been a short guy, but it was never a huge deal. So what changed? Well, at the start of Dragon Ball, Goku and Krillin were virtually the same height, with Goku having 3 or 4 inches on him. People will compare their heights at this time to that of a 5 or 6 year old child. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, they are comically small. Toriyama was mostly just having fun with it all, so he didn't really care about normality. That's probably obvious though, considering Goku fights a talking dragon humanoid on like episode 3. Anyway, Krillin's height isn't completely abnormal here, all things considered. His height changes with the first time skip of the Dragon Ball series. Krillin and Goku both being 15 years old, while previously being 12. Krillin's a bit older than Goku, however, but that doesn't really matter. And in these 3 years that were skipped, Krillin actually started closing the gap between him and Goku's height. The once 3 or 4 inch difference has been shrunk to 1 or 2 inches. Nice, Krillin. Now, I just want to get some numbers down here just for reference. So let's calculate Krillin's height using super cool math measurements and knowledge. So here I have a still of Mr. Popo and Goku. Mr. Popo's canon height is 5 foot 2 inches. And we see Goku all the way down here. He's obviously not the little buttercup he was at the beginning of the series, but is by no means tall. Unfortunately, it's impossible to calculate the height here for Goku, simply because he's bent over. So I'm going to use this Goku filler image and just match the head size with Goku. And after everything's squared away and even, we can finally measure. Goku stands at 3 foot 7 compared to the 5 foot 2 Popo. Let's do another example just to be sure this isn't an inaccuracy. King Piccolo, who was Goku's main enemy at this point, stands at 7 foot 4. We have another still of them both standing next to each other, but again we have to tinker with Goku a bit. Their shadows match up pretty well, so we can infer that Goku isn't too far in front of Piccolo. And once we use the same method from before, we get around 3 foot 5 for Goku. So there we go, his height's around there. Goku is 3 foot 6 while he's 15. Using this cool picture of Krillin and Goku, we'll put Krillin around 3'4" or 3'5". Still extremely short for their age, but it's a cartoony anime, so whatever. Now here come the growth spurts. After the next 3 year gap, both guys being 18 years old, we have confirmed in canon that Goku is 5 foot 7 here. And here's the perfect shot of both Krillin and Goku yet again. Krillin still had some decent growth during this period, and we can measure him to be 4 foot 2 for this arc. The heights and way Krillin's portrayed thus far is pretty consistent. He's just a short dude. Now we fast forward to Dragon Ball Z. Unfortunately, everything sort of derails a bit here. With the introduction to Saiyans in the Raditz arc, we're met with all our heroes after a 5 or 6 year time skip. Krillin's shown to have grown quite a bit more. To calculate his exact height, we have to make sure him and Goku can be at the same plane of sight, so let's enlarge him a bit and put him forward. Goku's 5 foot 9 now, so Krillin measures out to be about 5 feet tall. 5 foot is not too bad, considering at 12 he was 3 foot 5. And just to make sure, Bulma's canon height is 5 foot 5. And if we bring her forward like we did with Krillin, her height does indeed match out to be 5 foot 5. But my point here is that Krillin is by no means small anymore. He's decently tall compared to our other characters. So enjoy this Krillin while you can, he only gets smaller from here. In the same episode, they showed this shot of him looking up at Raditz. This is just a joke shot, not really meaning anything. We can compare this to Aaron's Titan being ant-sized compared to the Colossal Titan, even though he's only 1/4 of the Colossal's height. But anyways, moving into the Namek arc, inconsistencies pile up. There's a shot here of Krillin being decently taller than Gohan, then it pans over to Gohan and Krillin being the same height. On top of that, Krillin is 5 feet tall, so the fact that 5 foot 3 Vegeta is double his size is concerning. But let's just chalk this down as a fluke or another inconsistency. I mean, they wouldn't do our boy like this, would they? Anyways, let's fast forward to Krillin with hair in the Buu Saga. We have canon knowledge of Android 18 being 5 foot 7, and we get this little still of them. When measured out, unfortunately Krillin is now 4 foot 8, so he shrank about 4 inches. And since he's slightly in front of her, we can bring his height down maybe an inch further to 4 foot 7. Yikes, things are just not looking good for Krillin. Then Dragon Ball Super makes it look like a joke. There's an identical image of Krillin with Android 18, and he's considerably smaller. He is 3 foot 6 again. Sadly back to his 15-year-old height. They really did it to our boy, didn't they? Let's look at one more image of him just to make sure. Here's Goku looking down at Krillin. Goku 5'9", Krillin 3'6". So we can see that Krillin's height went up and down all throughout the show. He's not the only victim here either. Akira Toriyama was never a very serious writer, so he probably didn't care in the slightest about consistent height. If you want to check out my video on Akira Toriyama, click the card in the top right. But moral of today's video is that we should stop caring about anime characters' heights and go outside.